And we're live.
Hey, good evening. Thank you for attending our Drury GO open house virtual event. We are so excited to have an opportunity to share with you about Drury University's best kept secret, which hopefully after tonight, we hope is no longer a secret at all. For Drury GO. I grew up in a small town about an hour from Drury's main campus. When I was growing up, there were really about 3 reasons you drove to Springfield. First, to go to Bass Pro. Second, to go to the Battlefield Mall. Now keep in mind, I'm a 90s kid, so back then malls were still popular. And finally, the third reason was to attend college. Even back then, Drury University was considered the creme de la creme of colleges to attend. What I didn't know was that within Drury University was an area called the College of Continuing Professional Studies, which we now call Drury GO. GO is short for Global Online. This is an area of Drury University where we are about to celebrate our 75th anniversary. So we definitely have a history of providing accessible and affordable education. We offer seated and online courses to pursue over 30 fully accredited certificates, associate, bachelor, and master degrees that help a different population of students like each of you. Our students are looking for an affordable college education that is comparable to a public university in cost, but with an even better educational experience. These might be students like you who have to commute, work full-time, or have a family to care for. These might be students who serve in the military, are in high school seeking dual credit, or live in rural areas. Some of you may even have financial challenges that have prevented you from attending college in the past. We are here to help each of you obtain an education that you can afford, that will propel you into a bright and successful future. We have a great lineup of presentations to help you learn all about what Drury GO can offer you. Joining me tonight, we have Mary Sutherland, who is the Regional Director of Springfield, Missouri, Terry Faison, our site coordinator for Rolla, Missouri, Jackie Whiteman, coordinator of Ava, Missouri, Jeanette Flanner, director of Harrisonville, Missouri, Kirsten Jones, Northwest Arkansas coordinator, and Rhonda Shilley, regional director of Monette, Missouri. Each of them will have a brief presentation about different components of Drury GO. Before I hand it over to them, please keep in mind that you can post any questions you have live in the YouTube chat below. At the end of this virtual open house, we will be happy to answer them for you. Thanks again for being here. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Mary.
Drury GO has 9 campuses located throughout Missouri, and we have 1 campus in Northwest Arkansas. You can find us at our Drury University's main campus in Springfield, as well as in Ava, Farmington, Arkansas, Fort Leonard Wood, Harrisonville, Houston, Monette, Rolla, St. Robert, and beginning this fall, we'll be offering 2 bachelor's level classes at the North Ark College in Harrison, Arkansas. We have advisors at each of our 10 campuses, as well as for our students online that do not live near one of our locations. Each advisor works with and manages a specific group of prospective students from the start of the application process to enrollment, and continues to offer support to them throughout their journey with Drury GO. Our offices are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, with some additional evening hours as we get closer to the start of the fall semester. At Drury GO, we know our students are not always available during our normal business hours. If you need to make arrangements to visit during an alternative time, please contact us and we'd be happy to accommodate you. As James mentioned, at Drury GO, we offer over 30 degree programs. Whether you're looking to complete a certificate, a professional credential, an associate's, or a bachelor's level program, we have you covered. Our advisors have your end goal in mind and will help you select a career pathway to get you there. Checkpoints along the way give you the opportunity to pivot within your pathway if your interests or goals change and earn credentials to improve your job prospects. Our programs are divided up into 4 pathways: business, leadership and communication, education, health and behavioral science, and public service and safety. Housed within our public service and safety pathway is Drury's Law Enforcement Academy. Our academy is located on Drury's Springfield campus and is certified by the state of Missouri's Department of Public Safety. It provides professional training to those interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement. The academy meets the state of Missouri's minimum training requirement for Class A certification for peace officers. We have both a part-time evening cohort beginning August 22nd and a full-time cohort beginning January 17th, 2023. There is still time to enroll in the August cohort. If you're interested, please leave a comment on this video with your name and phone number, and Director Tony Bowers will contact you as soon as possible. The first step to applying for the Law Enforcement Academy is to complete the assessment test. This test measures applicants on the basic writing and reading skills. Those with the highest scores will be mailed an application packet for the academy and will also be asked to complete an application for Drury GO. Prospective students meeting all eligibility requirements will be invited to attend the orientation for acceptance into the next academy. And now I'm going to pass it over to Terry, who will continue discussing the public service and safety pathway, as well as how Drury GO is military friendly.
Good evening, good evening. Good evening. So I am going to just talk about the public service and safety pathway, as well as how Drury GO is military friendly. So looking here at our public service and safety, what I do want to show you is that the icons that look like little monitors, that indicates that that program is available 100% online. So when we look at our bachelor's programs, the criminal justice program, the emergency management, the human service bachelor's programs, those can all be completed 100% online. And as Mary discussed earlier, we do have the bachelor's with the law enforcement program. Our associate programs, we have criminal justice, emergency management, law enforcement, as well as paralegal studies. For our certificates, we have community policing, conflict resolution, corrections, law enforcement studies, legal essentials, workforce essentials. And as you can see, again, note that the icons mean that that program can be completed 100% online. And for our minor programs, we have cultural studies. Possible careers that you can have with these degrees, and this is just a small list, but there's emergency management director, a law enforcement officer, an emergency medical technician, a correctional officer, a firefighter, homeland security agent, security guard, occupational health and safety specialist, a social and community service manager, dispatcher, and detective. And like I said before, this is just a short list of careers that you could have with those degrees. And as far as our military friendly focus here at Drury GO, Drury is a very progressive when considering transfer credits here. Recognizing that our military members may be coming to us with credits from multiple different schools, and we strive to make sure that those hours find a home in an applicable program. Military undergraduate tuition rates decreased to $250 per credit hour for all military affiliated students. This includes active duty for all branches regardless of the TA status, all reserve branches, all National Guard units, as well as the spouses and dependent children of these service members. Note, this is discounted rate only applies to CCPS students and not the day school eligible. Drury is set up to accept the Military Spouse Career Advancement Account, which is my CAA scholarship. This is a workforce development program that provides up to $4,000 of tuition assistance for eligible military spouses toward any degree. Drury offers a waiver of the semester fee for undergraduates. That's $38 for all active duty for all branches, regardless of TA status, and all service branches, all National Guard units, as well as spouses. The CCPS also offers graduate students who are active duty military a discounted rate on graduate courses as well. The discount on all graduate studies courses is 10%, which is applied regardless of whether or not the student is using tuition assistance. Military TA uploads weekly as students register for classes and daily as TA windows close to ensure that any student who wants to use TA has access to that class on the TA platform. Certification of VA hours, a minimum of 30 days prior to that course starting, is when the student has to have submitted their documentation, and to ensure that payments begin on time for students receiving paid benefits from that VA directly to the student. Now, Drury's Military Veteran Benefits Coordinator is located locally in St. Robert. So when issues or questions arise and that require an in-depth conversation, a drive to Springfield is not necessary, because Christina Smith, and I did put her email address here, and that's ksmith069@drury.edu, is a knowledgeable certified official who learns as she goes. And when she doesn't have the information that a student needs, she finds it for that student. So that is a big plus for our military students. And that's all I have. And at this time, I would like to pass it over to Jackie, who will discuss the education pathway.
Thank you. Okay, sorry guys, we'll start that over again. Thank you, Laura, for coming in and letting me know. So, educational pathway at Drury, and thank you, Terry, for handing that off to me. The educational pathways at Drury University. The educational pathways, you'll become a reflective educator with a strong vision of the schools as an energetic, creative places. At Drury, we seek to prepare teachers who go just beyond the technical understanding of what really works. You will participate in a series of clinical experiences like reading practical and student teaching that begins as early as your first year of study. We have four different types of education pathways that you can take here. Credential program, a minor program, We have an associate's program and bachelor programs. The credential program is child and adolescent development. This pairs well with a custom and is customized to a Drury bachelor's degree program. We make a resume really stand out. You will take 4 3-hour courses for a total of 12 hours of coursework. Your credential will appear on your transcript. The minor program is in cultural studies, interdisciplinary minor, and it's fundamental tools to think deeply and critically about the concepts of culture. It integrates theoretical and practical knowledge, preparing students to contribute to life in a global community. You will take 6 3-hour courses for a total of 18 hours of coursework. Another minor program that we have is special education. You will talk about the neural diversity and the understanding of the differences in brain functions and behavioral traits, assessment strategies in special education, how to work with families of exceptional learners. You will take 6 3-hour courses for a total of 18 credit hours of coursework. We have an associate's program, and in an associate's program, an associate's of science in education, you can complete this in as little as 2 years. It is 62 credit hours of coursework, and you can become a reflective educator with a strong vision of schools as energetic and creative places. Bachelor's degree programs. Bachelor's of Science degree in elementary education, and it can be completed in 4 years. It's 124 credit hours of coursework and classroom experience. You will take methods classes that are included in the coursework, one of the fastest growing career fields in Missouri. The median annual wage is $58,230. You can have a bachelor's degree of science in middle school language and arts education. That degree can be completed in 4 years. You will have 124 credit hours of coursework of classroom experience. You will be designed for students seeking initial certification in grades 1 through 9 in language arts in the state of Missouri. Course content includes content, instructional practices, and professional responsibility. The median wage is $59,660. We have Bachelors of Science in middle school science education. It can be completed in 4 years, 124 credit hours of coursework and classroom experience, designed for students seeking initial certification for grades 5 through 9 in science in the state of Missouri. Courses will include methods coursework, learning how to prepare to teach students with a diverse learning needs with relevant curriculum. The median annual wage is $59,660. And that just skipped a bunch of them. Secondary education, Bachelor of Science secondary education. You will select one of the certificates. You will have to pick from biology, English and writing, or history. Coursework will include methods coursework, and you will learn how to prepare to teach students with a diverse learning needs with relevant curriculum. The median annual wage, $61,660. That's the end. We've come to the end of the educational pathways. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties in the beginning. And so for a better look at that, of all of those courses, to dig a little bit deeper and let you know the classes, I've included the website just at the bottom. And now I am going to pass it over to Jeanette, who will discuss the health and behavioral sciences pathway.
Thank you, Jackie. Oop, everything just went away for me. Are you still there? Let's see what happened. It says I'm sharing my screen, so even though it went away from me, I'm going to trust that that is the case. So thank you again, Jackie, and thank you to those of you tuning in tonight. I'm going to be sharing information regarding our health and behavioral sciences pathway. And you might be asking yourself, well, why should I consider the health and behavioral sciences pathway? Well, we've got 6 bachelor's degree options in there that I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in detail about. But just some overall ideas is why you might want to consider this pathway. Healthcare and mental health care workers are in demand nationwide. If you turn on the news at all, you'll hear about this. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that 14% overall increase in health-related jobs through 2028. And then if you couple with that the fact that, as I just mentioned, there's a shortage of healthcare workers and especially mental health workers. So if you couple that with the fact that it's going to continue to grow as an industry, it just can make you feel pretty good that there's going to be some job security there in the years ahead. It also helps you build specific technical skills and earn credentials for interacting with patients, but it's not only healthcare related. There are a lot of businesses out there that want people trained that have a little more of a psychology background, understanding of human nature, that kind of thing, to help with training within the business world, or if you're going to grow in administration. So those are all reasons why you might want to consider this pathway. The 6 paths that I had just mentioned that we have, behavioral and community health. This really explores psychological, social, cultural, economic, and environmental circumstances that impact people who are out there trying to live a healthy lifestyle. It leads to work possibilities in health departments, social services, wellness centers, mental health arenas, and so much more. Again, you've got a big business community looking for these kinds of backgrounds as well. The general biology is the only pathway of the 6 in the bachelor's program that you cannot complete online. And that is because of the nature of lab work, things like that. So if you've got an interest in biology, there are also a lot more opportunities. This is a great springboard for getting into postgraduate opportunities. So if you're interested at all in food science, environmental science, wildlife, zoology, a lot more in biology world, like I said, this could be a great springboard to advanced degrees as well. Health service management can be completed online. This is unique in that it is a 3-year program. It's a degree completion program that couples with healthcare professionals that have already got some school under their belt, whether it's somebody who's a tech of some sort in the medical world, a nurse. There's just all kinds of things that could couple with this health service management degree. And some reasons people might want this: if you're wanting to grow in the field, again, having some kind of administrative role, there's just all kinds of things that are going to add to the mobility of your career by adding this 3-year program. That's really a degree completion program for those that have other skills already in the healthcare industry. Applied psychology. This is another bachelor's program and that can be completed online. It really explores the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. They really talk about the real world nature of this particular degree. You're going to be involved with a lot of social interaction in the fields that go along with this degree. You could get involved in social work, counseling, education. And when I say education, I don't mean like the K through 12 setting, but there are a lot of counseling positions or other positions out there with wellness centers or things like this where you could be educating the community on better and healthy lifestyle practices. It's a great ground level path, again, for more advanced degrees. If you want to get into counseling, being a specialist, a therapist, those kinds of things, this is truly a great springboard, again, into a lot of different careers that you would need advanced schooling for. This next one has been pretty interesting. It's a newer thought process: psychology, resilience, and performance optimization. So you can see how this could be very intriguing for people that are interested in any kind of sports coaching, in business again, really life coaching, teaching people how to bounce back from tough situations, things like that. This is one that I think would be fun just to take for personal knowledge for yourself to grow in a lot of different ways in any career path again. So this one could be intriguing to a lot of different people. It's simply not the medical field only. So this one could be a really fun consideration for folks. And then the last of the bachelor's programs in this line is sociology. And it explores the many aspects of understanding people and society. So you can see again how this could be useful in a lot of career paths, not just the medical world. It really dives into social factors impacting institutions and organizations. So again, you can see how the business world is really going to be looking for things like this as a background as well. It can lead to careers in social and community services, counseling for a wide variety of social needs, and also, like I mentioned, a lot of business applications. So what about some other pathways? Drury GO is all about having lots of options and opportunities. And so this health and behavioral sciences really lends itself to that. We've got some 2-year degree options out there in psychology, behavioral science, emergency medical science, health and wellness, certificate programs that again are standalone programs. You don't have to be degree seeking to be able to take some of these. I've had some police officers come and ask me about the substance use and behavioral addictions and the trauma and resilience certificates that they think would really help them in their lines of work. You might imagine many careers that could benefit from having those certificates as well. Conflict resolution, again, what line of work couldn't benefit from having that extra certificate? So if you're somebody who's looking to grow in your career, conflict resolution could be a fantastic certificate to maybe help bump you up to the next level. Minor programs, you've heard several people tonight mention cultural studies. This complements any major. So it's very broad in its understanding of how culture impacts every aspect of the world today. So any one of our bachelor's programs, you could benefit by taking this cultural studies minor. It's not specific to health and behavioral sciences. It's something you could do with any of the bachelor's programs. Another one is addiction studies. This is another one I've had several in law enforcement ask me about. So that could be something that is really fantastic, whether you're looking at counseling, the counseling aspect, or any of these that I've talked to you about in the health and behavioral sciences. Addiction studies could be something really great to complement whatever your degree program is. All right, with that said, I'm going to pass it on to Kirsten, who will discuss the business and leadership communication pathway.
Hi, everybody. I'm waiting for my camera to pop on. Hopefully it does. Okay, there we go. Hello, I'm Kirsten Jones. I'm the coordinator for our Northwest Arkansas location, and I am going to be talking about the business, leadership, and communications pathway. Okay. So within this pathway, like all of our other coordinators have been talking about, we have a lot of different degree options that are available that kind of align with this path. And so I'm just going to touch a little bit on these. We have bachelor degree options. We have a bachelor's of business administration, which one really nice thing about that is you don't have to pick a certain specialty like finance or accounting or marketing. The business administration degree is really great because it's going to provide you with education and coursework in a really wide variety of subject areas. So if you decided to pursue this degree, you would be taking some accounting classes, economics, finance, international business. So you're really going to get a well-rounded experience. That lends itself to a lot of different career fields. And you're just really going to, when you finish, you're going to have a lot of great knowledge and helpful knowledge under your belt, which I think is really beneficial for the business world. The degree is very versatile, and I think that lends itself to the versatility of the world of business and all the different types of careers that you can have with a business degree. This business administration is one of our most popular degree programs. We have a lot of students come through that pursue that. And so I think they really enjoy it. It has a lot of great things to offer. Another bachelor's degree option, which is another one of our really popular programs, is our organizational leadership studies program. I've kind of heard it say that the business administration degree is kind of the number side of business, and the organizational leadership studies degree is more of the kind of humanistic side of business. So if you're someone that likes interacting with people and you're more interested in developing those relationships within the business world, the organizational leadership track might be, or degree might be a good option for you. There are 2 tracks that are a part of that degree program. You could choose between either leadership studies or human resources. And each of those tracks are going to be specifically tailored towards, more leadership coursework or things specifically geared towards the world of human resources. So you get choice in what is going to be most beneficial toward your career goals. So that's kind of nice. Another bachelor's degree we offer is a bachelor's in communications. We have a bachelor's in graphic and digital design. And then we also have a bachelor's in English and writing. For our associate's degrees, we do offer, which is our 2-year degrees, our associate's degree in business administration and associates in the organizational leadership studies, English and writing, and also communications. And I'm sure others have mentioned this, but in case there is question, a bachelor's degree is a 4-year degree. Our associates is going to be roughly a 2-year degree. And then next we have some certificate and credentialing options. So a lot of times students come to us and they're like, I don't really know if I want to do a bachelor's degree. They're just not sure if they want to dedicate that much time to 4 years of getting a degree. So certificates are a great place to start. Or if a student has been away from school for a while and they're coming back and they're wanting to get their feet wet, but they're a little hesitant, the certificates are often a really good place to start because they're going to give you some essential classes and information under your belt that will be beneficial in the job field, but then you can build on that. So if you complete a certificate and you're like, yeah, I want to go on and do an associate's, our certificates will build into the associates, which then build into a bachelor's. So it's really nice. You don't have to just jump straight into a bachelor's degree. You can kind of feel it out and do that first stepping stone of pursuing a certificate. So that's something to keep in mind. So some of our certificates that fall within business leadership and communications are going to be our applied instructional design certificate. Some of our most popular ones I've highlighted there in green are business essentials certificate, conflict resolution is another really popular one, and then workforce essentials. I would say those are probably our most sought after certificates just because the coursework that is a part of those really lend themselves to a lot of different jobs, and just the content of those certificates is really beneficial for students. We also have information technology, professional sales, and project management. And the other thing we offer are some credentialing programs. So sometimes students come to us and are already working within this job field, but maybe their employer is like, hey, we want you to go and get this experience and get this credential. So we wanted to offer some options for individuals like that. So we have instructional design, international conflict, project management, and also strategic leadership. So there's a lot of stuff to choose from. Of course, there's so much more to say about each of these things, but for the sake of keeping it, not overwhelming, I'm just going to leave it at that for what we have to offer. But of course, we're always happy to answer more questions in depth about specific programs. So career outcomes, what can you expect from pursuing these kind of degrees? These are just a handful of options. Of course, there are more options, but for business, you could potentially get a position in management, finance, or a loan officer, potentially event planning or marketing. For communication, you could work in public relations, be a sales manager, or do something in fundraising. For graphic and digital design, multimedia arts and illustration, art director, advertising and promotions manager, for organizational leadership, human resource management, operations management, administrative services, marketing or sales, and then English and writing, potentially technical writing, public relations, marketing, or nonprofit work are some options that you might consider. Oh, and one thing I'll say in relation to careers, a lot of these degree programs are great to go into a graduate program. So for business, you could very easily, go on to pursue your master's in business administration. So I think these degrees put you in a great spot to then move into graduate work if that's something that you are interested in. So you might be saying, well, why pursue these degrees with Drury GO? And these are just a couple of things I think are beneficial and are positive considerations. We have flexible class format. So most of those degrees that I talked about are offered completely online. Most of our Drury GO students either work full-time or have families or are doing both. And we know that they have a lot on their plates. And so we're trying to meet you guys where you're at and be able to provide you with pursuing your education too. So we try to offer flexible formats, whether it's hybrid or online or seated. We have a lot of variety there, which is really nice. You're going to get a personalized learning experience. We are really small, so we do have small class sizes, but your professors are really great and they're really caring and invested in your success and you continuing your degree. So they are going to seek you out. They're going to reach out to you if you're not responding and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Because they really do care about investing in your future and your educational success. They want you to be successful. They want you to have the best life that you can. And so they really do care about you and they're going to be there to answer your questions and just provide any support that they can to you. As a Drury GO student, you're going to have access to campus resources such as tutoring. We have disability support services. So if you need any kind of accommodations, we have that available. And then also you would be assigned to an academic advisor who's going to help you with scheduling, making sure you're on track for your degree, and just, being that person that you can lean on and go to when you have questions, and they're going to be your cheerleader. So you don't have to figure anything out on your own. You're going to have people in all the different corners ready to help, ready to cheer you on and give you encouragement as you need it. And then the last thing is affordable. Drury GO, you're going to get a private education and it's at a pretty reasonable tuition cost, which is really awesome. We also have a lot of different scholarship opportunities that can help kind of offset the cost of that. So that's what I have. And on the note of scholarships and financial aid, I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda, who's going to talk about different financial aid opportunities to help cover the cost of Drury.
Thank you, Kirsten. There we go. So, like Kirsten said, I love that last slide, Kirsten, about how, we just like to really have that relationship and we treat you, in a certain way. And one thing I want to say, if you guys, I love that Kirsten defined the difference between a bachelor degree and an associate degree. Sometimes we forget students might not know what that means. So if we say something that you don't know what that term means, please don't be bashful to drop us some comments in the chat below and we'll answer those questions when we finish up here. So the thing I get to talk about is the thing that most people don't like to talk about, and that's how do you pay for college? And at Drury, we actually like to talk about it, and that's really because A, we're affordable, and B, there's a lot of options out there that you might not know about to help you pay for college. So first and foremost, the first thing you have to do is you have to file that FAFSA. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. That first word, free, means exactly that. So if you go online and you hop in a website that asks you to pay to fill out your FAFSA, you hop right back out and you go to studentaid.gov. That's where you need to be to fill out that application. It's free. It opens up October 1 of every year. So if you're looking at starting this fall, obviously that FAFSA is already open. If you're a Missouri resident, the priority deadline is February 1, and we'll talk about that here in a couple slides. Don't be afraid to fill out the FAFSA. It's going to take you about 30 minutes to an hour. It's kind of known as this big bad beast, but honestly, if you just kind of go step by step and answer the questions, there's a lot of tools throughout the FAFSA to help you navigate it. You do have to use your parents if you're a dependent status or in your tax return in order to determine what your financial need is. In the IRS, if it's been a few years since you filed a FAFSA, or maybe this is your first one, there's a really handy tool in the FAFSA, and it's called the IRS Data Retrieval Tool. And that allows you to link to the IRS, and then it just dumps your financial information into your FAFSA. And then you just wrap up your FAFSA answering some really simple questions. So don't be afraid to use that tool. Actually, I would really encourage you to use that tool. This coming FAFSA this year, like I said, the filing is open for this fall, and you'll use your 2020 tax return. Now, we work with a lot of students. We help a lot of students with their FAFSA, so don't be afraid to ask your Drury advisor for guidance on, we can't do your FAFSA for you, but we know that maybe it's not that simple for you. Maybe, hey, I just went through a divorce, or my parents went through a divorce, or I don't have a relationship with my parents and I have to use their tax information. Don't be afraid to visit with your Drury advisor, because we can connect you with the financial aid office, because there is a form that you can fill out asking for special consideration for any kind of unusual circumstance that you might have. So don't feel like you're in it alone. Share with your advisor so we can help you brainstorm. FAFSA is the first step for getting Pell Grant, which Pell is it's need-based money that you do not have to repay. Missouri Access Grant money, that's for Missouri residents only. That's for that February 1 deadline. That's the only thing you hear today. I really hope you hear it, Missouri residents. Get that FAFSA filled out by February 1, because you increase your with the grant money that you receive. You do have to take a minimum of 12 hours. At the end of your FAFSA, it's going to give you this code. It's called an EFC code, an estimated family contribution. That's basically what the government thinks that you can afford based on how you answered your FAFSA. That's how much you can afford for your education. If your EFC is 12,000 or less, and you have a 2.5, you get Missouri Access. So I have students that'll say, well, I'm not going to fill out a FAFSA because my parents make too much money, or I make too much money and I won't get Pell Grant. And that might be the case, but you might get Missouri Access money. So I always tell students, go ahead and fill it out. You might not qualify for Pell, but you might qualify for Missouri money. And then, of course, student loans. We always caution our students to be really careful with student loans. But at the same time, we tell them, don't be afraid to take out a student loan. If it's keeping you moving forward, don't be afraid to borrow money. Oftentimes, you're going to qualify for subsidized loans, which means the government is going to pay the interest while you're in school. So it's a very affordable way to borrow money. And then we have the Drury GO Scholarship, which is, you get this your very first semester at Drury. You need to take at least 9 credit hours. It's available to new, transfer, and returning students who are degree seeking. Like I said, you have to take 9 credit hours. The great thing about this scholarship is that you don't compete with other students. You don't have to apply. You just need to get registered, take those 9 credit hours, and assuming you meet all the qualifications, which are pretty much listed here, you get that $500, and that's your first semester. So given what I've talked about so far, I just kind of want to let's look at a student who is a full Pell Grant student. They've done their FAFSA, they get the max amount of Pell. How much is it going to cost me to go to Drury? So our per credit hour rate is $320 a credit hour. If you are comparing colleges right now, I can't stress enough the importance of not comparing credit hour for credit hour, because that really doesn't give you a clear picture of what it's going to cost you to go to school. You need to see what are the fees that they're going to tack on to that credit hour at the end of the day, because they're going to really surprise you because they add up. At Drury, really proud to say we have limited fees. We have an $8 per credit hour technology fee, and then we have a flat $38 student fee. So you can see here the cost of tuition for 12 credit hours, plus the tech fee, student fee. That's what you're looking at the first semester for your tuition and your fees. Super affordable. Here's that $500 scholarship that you get your very first semester. Assuming again that you're the full Pell Grant, you can expect an estimated amount of a little over $3,000. If you're a Missouri resident, you got that FAFSA filed by February 1 of this year, you could get the extra $1,000, and you're looking at a refund. I mean, it's crazy. And if you're not a Missouri resident, or maybe you didn't get that FAFSA filled out on time, okay, take away that $1,000 and you can still see it's not going to cost you that much if you're a full Pell student to get started with college. So after that first semester, that Drury GO scholarships kind of converts into a pathway scholarship, and that's $250. Again, what I love about this scholarship is that you don't have to apply for it. You don't have to remember, oh, I got to get that application in. It keeps you moving down the path. That's why it's named pathway. So you got to stay enrolled that second semester. You need to get registered for fall by August the 19th. You need to have at least a 3.0 GPA from your first semester. You need to take at least 6 hours. Get your FAFSA filed. You do need to be Pell Grant eligible in order to receive the scholarship, but that's a great little extra perk that you don't even have to apply for. So another scholarship, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to jump in at any time if they want to share something, but Badge to Bachelors scholarship. I'm really proud of this scholarship. It's really one of our best scholarships we have, and it's up to $600 a semester. And this is available to active duty and retired law enforcement officers and their dependents, as well as law enforcement academy graduates. But I know that we've also had some other professions that you might not think fits exactly into that law enforcement academy. So if you even work in any kind of field that you think, I wonder if they would consider this, ask us, because we've really been pretty open to a lot of different areas in awarding the scholarship. It is renewable every single semester. You do have to apply every single term for this scholarship. And again, it's available to new, transfer, and returning students. Some other institutional scholarships that we have a memorial scholarship, which is $1,000 a semester. And the criteria to be eligible for that is a 3.0 GPA, 30 hours completed, and you do have to demonstrate financial need. There are additional scholarships for members of Disciples of Christ and United Church of Christ congregations. So if you're a member of those two, again, talk to your academic advisor and ask them exactly what's available. Then we have the Missouri Fast Track Grant, which completely covers the cost of your tuition and fees after your aid is applied. You do have to be 25 years or older, and you have to not have been enrolled in school in at least the last 2 years. And you have to be working on your first bachelor's degree. You can go either full or part-time. Your tax return, if you're filing jointly, it needs to be no more than $80,000. Any other tax filing status would be $40,000. It's a 2.5 GPA. You do have to maintain Missouri residency and achieve qualifying employment within 12 months of graduation and maintain that employment for at least 3 years. Finish line, listen, this has been, I can't even tell you how many students we have helped. Oftentimes we get out of high school, we go to college, and we leave college not thinking about dropping and leaving a balance, and then we decide to come back and we've got this balance that's hanging over our heads. Not only do you have a balance, now you can't get a transcript to that college that you went to, so now you can't enroll in another college. So the Finish Line is funded by the Missouri Scholarship and Loan Foundation, and it provides resources. So if you have an old balance from a Missouri school, it could be up to $4,000, and that balance needs to be at least 6 months old. You do need to be a Missouri resident. You need to be within 30 hours of completing a program. That does not mean completing your degree. As the ladies mentioned, we have several associate bachelors, but we also have some smaller credential degree programs. So you just need to be within 30 hours of completing one of those. You need to be in at least 6 hours and submit a FAFSA. This process is so simple, I can't even tell you. We've had students come in, your academic advisor at Drury is going to help you with this. We know exactly what documents you need. I'd say within a 30-minute time frame, you come in our office, we help you fill out this application. It's online. You upload a couple of documents, you submit it. We've had students get a reply within 24 hours from the Missouri Scholarship and Loan Foundation. So one example, I had a student last semester that came to us who owed a balance. She went to school in the Boot Hill and had no idea that this was available. And we said, let's just give it a shot. And we helped her fill this out. It cleared her balance at that institution she was leaving, and she was able to enroll with us here at Drury. So one last thing that I want to mention is the College Assistance Migrant Program. This is a federally funded program. It's housed here on the Monette campus, but it's also available to students in Arkansas and on the Springfield campus. So in a nutshell, if you or someone in your immediate family, so a sibling or a parent, has done some sort of seasonal or migrant farm work, so you're picking blueberries, you're working on sod farms, if they've done any of that kind of work, there's a really good possibility that you could qualify for this program. It's basically helps you with your first year of studies with a really hefty scholarship, as well as a lot of other really important and meaningful benefits. And I know I went through that really, really quick. So again, this is my name. That's my contact information. I would be willing to visit because, we've all got special circumstances. And so we love nothing more to sit with a student and help you find resources. So call me, text me, we can set up a time, and I'd love really just to meet with you individually and help figure out which one of these opportunities best fits you. So now I'm going to pass it over to Mary, who will discuss what we call our CCI programs.
Thank you, Rhonda. And again, I'll be speaking about the professional enrichment programs. Drury GO offers 9 enrichment programs to help students along their way to earning a professional credential. These programs include clinical medical assistant, computer technician, dental assistant, medical administrative assistant, medical billing and coding, pharmacy technician, phlebotomy technician, and veterinary assistants. Each program is offered fully online with a 6-month completion window. These programs are non-credit bearing, but they do qualify for the Missouri Fast Tracks grant, as Rhonda was talking about, with the exception of the veterinary tech program. Tuition ranges from $3,000 to $4,000 depending on the program. However, it includes textbooks, an optional externship, as well as certification exam fees. We will soon have an exciting announcement about the future of our professional enrichment programs. Please be on the lookout for communication from our office. Now, this concludes our discussion with Drury GO and what we can offer you as a student. I'm now going to pass it over to James Ackerman for some questions and answers.
Hey, thank you all so much for sharing about Drury GO. I've only been a jury employee now for about 2 months, so I learned quite a bit myself from these presentations. One thing that really stood out to me is that we have a $500 bill. So thank you, Rhonda, for showing that on one of your slides. I actually got curious about that because I've never seen one, and that's because it was pulled from circulation 50 years ago. But the
I
president on
know.
it is William McKinley. So that was
Dang,
killing me.
James, I was even going to mention that actually is a thing. I Googled it. They're
Yeah.
only found in like collectors or have them, but that's a real thing. So
See, I learned so much tonight. So a lot of your information stood out to me. So I appreciate that.
yeah.
And honestly, even though it's been 2 months, I'm thankful to be part of a team that has such a passion for helping students. So I want to go ahead and open it up for a Q&A section for tonight's open house. One of the questions that we received was, and this is a great question, when new classes start? So Mary, if you don't mind, can you talk about when students can enroll in classes or when classes begin?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Our fall semester begins on August 22nd, and that's coming up, but you still have plenty of time to enroll. So you can just apply online at drury.edu/go, and our application it's free to apply, and it just takes a few minutes. We will ask for your official transcripts from your high school and any educational institutions that you've attended, but again, it's a quick process, and we can definitely get you in for the fall semester. Our semester is actually 14 weeks long. I'm sorry, 16 weeks long, and it goes from August 22nd to December 16th. Now, we do have some courses that go the full 16 weeks, but we also have what's called block courses. So those are either going to be the first 16 weeks, the first 8 weeks, or the second 8 weeks of the semester. So the first 8 weeks is what we call the A block, and those classes go from the week of August 22nd to October 14th. And our B block starts the week of October 24th and ends on December 16th.
Hey, thank you, Mary. If anybody else has questions, just remember you can post them in the live chat underneath the video here on YouTube. The next question we have is for Terry. Terry, you had mentioned during your presentation that most of the degrees can be offered online. That's what that computer icon meant. But let's say a student also enjoys taking classes in person. Are there opportunities for seated classes as well for those degrees?
Yes, there are. There are opportunities for some of those classes to be seated as well. And each campus has a list of those classes that are seated for each semester. So yes, the answer is yes to that question. There are some seated as well as online courses.
Awesome, thank you. I love that flexibility. I know that as a student, for me, flexibility was really important as someone who worked full-time and has a family. So it was nice being able to find classes that met my schedule, but also my learning style. So that's great news indeed. All right, well, that ends all the questions that we have for our Q&A. I want to go ahead and just real quick, I would like to just take a minute and just say thank you so much for each of you who attended. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a minute to encourage each of you to reach out to one of our wonderful Drury GO employees if you have any other questions, or hopefully after learning all about Drury GO, how we can serve you, that you'd like to move forward with applying. So I know that I saw different employees had posted their contact information during their presentations. So you may have jotted that down. And I hope that you found that you connected with one of these presentations and you do so. And if that's you, then please check out a slide I'm going to share here in just a minute when we're done. And it gives all the information you need as well to just go ahead and continue to look at what we can offer you here at Drury GO. So we look forward to having you as part of our family. And I know meeting each of you individually, and one day soon, our hope is to see your smiling face as you walk across the stage at graduation. So thank you all so much. We appreciate you. And I'll post that slide now for you. And we look forward to hearing from you.